I'm going to do a demonstration of a business manager who's going to be managing an actual budget delivered through one of these applications, which I talked about, these custom apps that you can build. So what we're going to do now is move on to something a bit more complete. I've just shown you there something from scratch. Let's look at something that's been pre-made. And so I'm going to go back to my dashboards here, and I've got one which a much more fully developed example here, which I'll click on here. There's 3 tabs in this one here. You can see there's a load of tabs in here. And what I'm starting from here is a workforce. So this one's a workforce budget where I was looking at sales here. And so instead of customers, we've got each line here being an employee. And as you can see here, we've got, this is the part here that the manager, and in this case here, you can see that I've got Sales Melbourne is just the data represented for that person. So it's key here to say that you could deploy the same screens, but each one will only get their part of the view. So for instance, if I change from Sales Melbourne to Sydney, this is going to refresh. So if I was Sales Sydney, I wouldn't see anything from Sales Melbourne, and I'll get different data. So this person here's got different numbers coming up here, different charts displaying their data, and therefore we can just go back to our Melbourne one here, and we'll get back to our data again. So Melbourne, and so on, back to Melbourne. So again, there, one deployment, multiple people, just the data they need. And again, every time we're going through this, just think of what this would be like in a spreadsheet environment where you have to manage this and control the data so carefully, whereas in fact you just deploy one app, send it out, and you know everything, like the data that they're going to see is just theirs and so on, and the data, the widgets, the dashboards come up, it's just going to be theirs. So we're going to start off the example here being, I'm a budget manager and I'm doing my budget for next year. I'm setting it up from January to December in this example for the coming year. When we've done that, we'll move into the forecast, the workforce forecast version. And in that case, we're going to move 3 months into that plan. So we're actually in April. And we're going to start doing the forecast from April to December. And so that's going to be very different. So I think it's very important to realize the differences between a budget and a forecast. And we can't just treat them as the same way. And again, I'm going to use the power of being able to customize this exactly to how I want to display those differences. And finally, another perspective is to say, okay, we're still in the forecast, but I'm the manager of Australia, and I want to see how my performance is going within my team. And again, I want that to be a very personalized perspective. Okay, so with that said, we'll start in the workforce budget, just like we are here, and we can see what, like, similar to how we built. We've got some target information. So I'm putting in here information which helps the person, or me as the person here, work out my budget, that what I'm putting in and taking out is going to work, and I can immediately self-service and see the impact of things as I do it. So again, imagine if it was a spreadsheet and I was giving them out, you would not have any of this sort of experience, and you wouldn't know, because everything I'm doing here, it's a live model. So I can make a change, the whole updated from bottom to top is going on. So I've got my list here, and we can see here I've got some imported in. This has been imported in from the HR system, so we're using external data. And we've also got, this person here has got 3 new hires for the coming year. You can see one starting in February, March, and April. Apologies for the American format of the dates. And so this person has been building this up, and we can see here we're over our expense target. It says target exceeded. So we're assuming here that we've got a target that we're trying to meet, or we're slightly over in this case here. We can also see down the bottom, the blue ones here is my budget, and the line here is last year's. So again, the user experience is that we are giving them comparative data so they can see very clearly, okay, this is how it is to last year. It doesn't mean to say they have to be the same as last year or lower or higher, but just give them the information, and we can see, depending on which one, there's last year's and there's the plan. I've also got, just to help them, again, last year's reference here, 2021, so that's actuals. So that was the total 568,000 last year, and the bridge between that and my current budget that I'm projecting forward. So I'm clearly over, and I can see it by quarter. So just to give you a bit of example here, how me as a budget user could make this work for me, I might start playing with this and saying, okay, let me just take out 2 of my hires here, because it's a bit high, and I'm just going to see the impact of that. So let's just, when we save this, let's just see the impact. So this what if analysis is a kind of starting to get the ability to change things. And we can see we've got closer, we're still over, but it's changed. We can see how especially my 3rd quarter, I've gone positive now. So I've begun to get into closer alignment with this here. And I might say, okay, I know that's good, but I need these 2 people. So I'm going to put them back in and save that. But as you see here, as a part of your budget process, it would be really useful for your people to be able to just test things out and immediately see the impact of that. Can I afford this? Can I put in a new line? And it's very easy, as we'll see when we come to the forecast process, how we can actually adapt this file that we've been imported. All right, so let's just say now I've done my part of the budget. We can work with this and submit this budget. As you saw earlier, on the left-hand side, I could have had these steps through my budget and I could mark it as done when I'm done. And so you'll be alerted if it's done. You'll get emails can be done as well. So now we're going to move forward